Hi folks, welcome to the fourth webinar of a series of webinars conducted by TCS online in lieu of the upcoming management case study examinations happening in May and August 2022. Please remember that up until now, we had done 3 webinars. In webinar number 1, I highlighted what you need to do with regards to exam preparation. In webinar number 2, I conducted a part of the pre-scene analysis. In webinar number 3, I highlighted about answering technique. And in this webinar, I will be talking about study technique, thereby highlighting what you need to focus on in the coming 2 weeks, because as you already know, you have only 2 weeks to the exam. So I will be highlighting what you need to do in the coming 2 weeks in this webinar. And on top of that, as part of this webinar, I will be providing a daily study plan for you as well. If you think it's going to add value, you can stick to it. Okay, so having said that, let's look at the session outcomes. So first things first, I will be talking about study planning, what you need to do with regards to developing study plans. And in the second part of today's session, I will be highlighting how you guys can develop confidence, because maintaining and as well as developing as well as maintaining confidence is of utmost importance, especially in a case study examination, because this is a highly time pressured exam. Most of the time students tend to panic unnecessarily. Because of that, even properly even students who had properly done their homework end up getting low marks in the exam. Why? Because of them losing confidence. So I'll be giving you some tips pertaining to how you can manage this confidence both before the exam as well as whilst you are attempting the paper. And in the, as part of the as the third part of this session, I will be opening up the floor for a Q&A session. If you have any question pertaining to this time's case study, you can raise your concerns there. Okay. So first things first, let's look at the to-do list. What you are supposed to do. You are supposed to read the annotated pre-scene. So if you had purchased one of our packages, then you would have the annotated pre-scene. You would have access to the annotated pre-scene. So this is the same pre-scene which is provided by CIMA, but I've taken care to come up with annotations, thereby highlighting the main facts which you need to remember. And on top of that, I've highlighted any hints which has been highlighted by the examiner. And on top of that, I've highlighted any syllabus content or syllabus areas which can be tested. So you have to read the annotated pre-scene properly. Then you need to watch the 4 pre-scene analysis videos. So these videos, the 4 videos, in the first video, I've conducted an industry analysis. In the second and the third videos, I've spoken about company operations. And in the fourth and final video, I've highlighted the financials based on the financial statements of piping as well as its closest competitor. On top of watching these pre-scene analysis videos, I want you to watch the 4 webinar recordings, because all webinars are recorded, and the recorded version has been uploaded into the website, into our website. So I want you to go through these 4 recordings, because then you would know about the technical nitty-gritties pertaining to the management case study. And on top of that, you would know different types of techniques which you can use to excel in your examination, especially when it comes to developing answer plans. So I want you guys to watch webinar number 3, where I've discussed what you need to do with regards to answer planning technique. And I've also provided or I've highlighted how to develop a proper answer plan, which is going to be extremely beneficial at your real exam. Then you are supposed to refer to the slides pertaining to the industry analysis, financial analysis, the top 10 issues. And if you had purchased the value pack, you have access to theory recaps pertaining to E2, F2, and P2. So if you feel that you need to brush up on your theoretical knowledge, then you can easily do it by looking at these theory recap slides which we had prepared. And having gone through all these additional content, the most important material which you have access to is the 5 exam standard mock exams. So you need to practice these 5 mock exams, because I've come across so many students who fail because of just practicing 1 or 2 mocks. That's not going to be beneficial, because you can't cover the entire syllabus through 1 or 2 mocks. So it is recommended that you go through all 5 mock exams and that you attempt them, because you need to get used to the time plan. I've highlighted this in webinar number 3. You need to plan your time appropriately. You need to develop answer plans. So you need to get accustomed to this process. So that's exactly why we are suggesting that you need to practice 5 exam standard mock exams. Then you have to also develop answer plans based on suggested answers of each mock. So with the 5 mocks, you'd have access to 5 suggested answers as well. These suggested answers, based on these suggested answers, you need to develop answer plans. So if you're wondering what answer plans are, again, I'm asking you to watch webinar number 3. So these answer plans, which are based on the suggested answers, are going to be short notes. So closer to the exam, rather than going through pages and pages of answers or information, you can simply look at this short note, which is based on the suggested answer, which is good for revision purposes. And on top of that, if you're not seeking personalized feedback for your mocks, then this is what you need. You need the answer plans. You need to compare your answers with the answer plan, which is based on suggested answers, to figure out which points you have missed and areas where you need to improve when developing answers. So this is the to-do list. In the upcoming 2 weeks, you need to do all these things in order to make sure that you pass the upcoming examination. So then I'm highlighting the important dates. Exam entry for the sitting in May is closing tomorrow, which is the 4th of May 2022. And if you're yet to book the exam, I suggest that you book it right now, because the deadline is tomorrow. And looking at the exam dates, the exams are held between 18th to the 20th of May 2022. All right, this is the most important part of today's webinar, where as I highlighted earlier, I said that I will be providing a study plan, and this is exactly the study plan which I was talking about. So I've highlighted the type of activities which you need to do in the coming 2 weeks, and I've come up with a time allocation. Please remember that this time allocation could be too much for you, but I've allocated time based on a student who would take a bit of time to prepare him or herself. You might be faster than this when doing certain activities, but that's fine. I've just given I've prepared a study plan based on the worst case scenario. Okay, so time allocation is provided, and based on that, I've stipulated the deadlines which you need to adhere to. Okay, so first things first, as I told you earlier, you need to go through the annotated pre-scene. Usually students would take 2 to 4 hours to go through it. So I've highlighted that you need to take 4 hours to go through the entire annotated pre-scene to properly understand it. So I want you guys to start going through the annotated pre-scene and finishing it off by tomorrow. The deadline is tomorrow, the 4th of May. Then you need to watch the videos, the 4 pre-scene analysis videos, as well as the 4 webinars. And for each of the activity, I've allocated 6 hours each, and the deadlines has been stipulated. And as I highlighted earlier, it's better to go through the additional material and additional slides which we had developed. So based on that, I've allocated 3 hours for industry analysis, financial analysis, and the top 10 issue slides. Then for theory recaps, I've allocated 3 hours each per subject. which comes up to a total of 9 hours. Okay, you might not need this 9 hours, but still I've allocated that time. So all this needs to be done on the 7th of May, which is a Saturday. I hope you guys are off work on Saturday. So that's exactly why I've allocated something like 12 hours of preparation for the 7th of May. Then the next step is the most important step, which is about attempting mocks and developing study plans. Developing answer plans. Okay. So I want you to attempt the first mock on the 8th of May if you are yet to attempt mocks. Okay. It's high time you start attempting mocks if you had not attempted any of the mocks. So a mock usually takes 3 hours of your time. So the time allocation is 3 hours. I want you to do it on the 8th of May, which is the coming Sunday. Then I told you that based on the suggested answers, you need to develop answer plans, which is gonna become a short note, which can be used as a short note. And on top of that, which can be used as a means of comparing your answer to that of the suggested answer. So that would take 3 hours of your time. It might not actually, but I've allocated 3 hours. So since Sunday is a holiday, I've put in 6 hours of study time for the 8th of May. Then mock 2, I do not want you to work on a Monday because I know Mondays are hectic most of the time. If you have time, you can start mock 2 on the 9th of May. However, I've suggested that you start it on the 10th. Again, 3 hours are allocated, and on the next day, you are supposed to develop the answer plan for mock 2. So likewise, for each and every mock, I've highlighted a deadline, as well as for each and every mock, I want you to come up with an answer plan. Okay. And please remember, during the weekends, I've allocated 6 to 9 hours of study time. But on the other days, I've just allocated 3 hours so that it fits into your work-life balance. Okay. And on the 16th of May, so up until the 15th of May, you can keep attempting mock exams. And on the 16th of May, I want you to go through the answer plans of all 5 mocks. So it would take you 7.5 hours, maybe lesser than this. Okay. Why I want you to go through the answer plans of all 5 mocks is then you can revise the entire syllabus, because we had prepared our 5 mock exams covering the entire MCS syllabus. We have come up with any type of question which can be tested in the examination. So going through these answer plans, 5 answer plans will help you revise theoretical content, as well as help you understand how to develop answers. Okay. And on the 17th of May, let's assuming that you are doing your exam on the 18th, I've kept the 17th of May for relaxation. I do not want you guys to attempt any mocks or go through any additional material or content a day before the exam. Why am I suggesting this? Because you are playing the role of a finance manager. So as a finance manager, you need to have an open mind when you go into the exam. So I've seen, as a youngster, when I was doing my exams up until the operational level, I can remember just before the exam, 5 minutes before the exam, I was going through theoretical content. I was going through past papers. Okay. When you do that, what happens is you get something called tunnel vision. And this tunnel vision is not going to help you at the exam, because for instance, just before the exam, if you went through an F2 related area, every time you see an F2 related question, you'd remember the question you went through. Okay. And based on that, you try to develop answers which are akin to the syllabus area which you went through just before the exam. So I do not want you to do anything like that. One day before the exam, take a break. You need to relax. You need to calm your body and mind, because I want you to go fresh into the exam with an open mind. and relaxing a day before the exam helps you with building confidence as well. I'll be talking about these things later. And the exam dates are from the 18th to the 20th of May. So if you had booked the exam on the 20th, you have a buffer of 2 additional days. I've developed the study plan, assuming that a student takes up the examination on the 18th, the first exam window. Okay, so that's the study plan. Then we are moving on to the second part of today's webinar, which is about developing confidence. So I'm highlighting what you need to do before the exam. Before the exam, you need to stick to the study plan. So I've highlighted what all the activities you need to do and the time allocations and whatnot. So you need to stick to the study plan. And this study plan is not too hard, because you just need 3 hours of study time per day. I'm talking about weekdays, weekends. As I said, I've allocated a higher amount of hours because you guys are free. You are not working during the weekends. So during the weekdays, you just need 3 hours of study time per day. You have only 2 weeks to the exam. If you can't find at least 3 hours of study time per day, forget about the MCS exam, because you need to prepare yourselves in the coming 2 weeks appropriately. And just remember that you need to prepare for only 2 weeks. So this is not a hard task. Give it your best shot in the coming 2 weeks to ensure that you clear this hurdle without any hiccups. Okay. And I want you to stick to a routine. Okay. I want you to wake up at the same time and sleep at the same time in the coming 2 weeks, because it's going to be extremely beneficial for you, both mentally and physically. I know for a fact, most of us, we do not stick to a routine when it comes to waking up and sleeping. But at least in the coming 2 weeks, it's best that you do this, because then it helps you, plan your studies appropriately. It will help you find time. You won't need to burn midnight oil if you stick to a schedule when it comes to waking up and sleeping. And if you find it hard to wake up and sleep at the same at a stipulated time, focus on getting your daily meal intake right. So have your breakfast, lunch, and dinner at regular intervals. Come up with a plan for that, so that you can stick to this routine and get all the work done without undue pressure in the coming 2 weeks. And when practicing mocks, it's better if you can practice at the same time of day as the exam booking. So if your exam is happening at 9 o'clock, 9 to 12, it's better if you can practice the exams or practice your mock exams at the same time. However, if you have corporate responsibilities, or if you're running your own business, if you have responsibilities during the time from 9 to 12, then you have no other option but to choose some other study time. But if you can allocate time or practice mock exams as the same time of day as the exam booking, then that's better, because then you are getting accustomed to, psychologically, you are getting accustomed to real exam conditions. Okay, so that's what you need to do to develop confidence before the exam. And on the exam day, what are you supposed to do? Before the exam, rest your mind and body. That's exactly why I want you to take a day off 1 day before the exam, so that your mind and body is calm, because calm and composed. Because talking about my personal experience, as I told you earlier, up until the operational level, I did not take a break before a day before the exam, but after that, I totally changed the way in which I prepared myself. I relied on self-study. So I had to balance my work as well as studies, okay, as a youngster. So in such a context, going to the exam with a positive mindset, going to the exam with a relaxed mindset helped immensely. I experienced that I scored better marks when I was calm and composed. So I want you to replicate the same thing in your exam as well. Do not refer to any study material, mocks or answer plans on the day of the exam. I want you to go to the exam with an open mind. Think that you are the finance manager at piping. Yes, you are supposed to play the role of a finance manager. CIMA, the CIMA examiner is trying to come up with a scenario, real life work environment. So in a real life work environment, you won't know the type of problems which will be thrown at you. You won't know the type of suggestions your senior manager is gonna request from you. So because of that, just go with an open mind. Think that you are the finance manager at piping. And if you feel afraid on the day of the exam, you have to let go of any negativity. You have to tell yourself, keep telling yourself that you have done your homework. So there, because of that, there's nothing to panic. For instance, as a student, when I was doing exams on the day of the exam, I always used to feel sick. I felt feverish before the exam. So that's, exam pressure taking over the mind as well as the body. So you have to let go of negativity. You have to constantly remind yourself that you had done your homework and you had prepared yourself properly. And if you stick to our study plan, then that's what is necessary. You need not do too less or too much. And the most important thing is you have to be open-minded. Why? Because you are playing the role of the finance manager at piping. And what are you supposed to do during the exam? During the exam, stick to the exam technique routine. I've highlighted this exam technique routine in webinar number 3. Okay, so in that webinar, I said for each task, you have a time allocation of 45 minutes. 20 minutes should be spent for reading and answer planning, and the remaining 25 minutes can be allocated towards typing the answers. So the first 20 minutes is the most important, because based on your answer plan only, you'd determine what you are going to type. So spend quality time during these 20 minutes. Read your question properly, come up with a solid answer plan. After coming up with the answer plan, recheck with the task to see whether you had addressed all the needs which are highlighted in the task. Then start typing your answers in the remaining 25 minutes. If you do not know how to do this, please watch webinar number 3. If you feel stressed, drink some water, okay, because it helps you calm down and relax. Okay, close your eyes and breathe slowly for 2 minutes. Now, for instance, you won't get out of all your tasks, at least 2 out of all your subtasks, at least 2 subtasks are going to be extremely hard. Okay, so when you're faced with a hard subtask, don't let that negativity affect the rest of the paper. Okay, I've seen students who are prepared, who had prepared themselves properly, when they are faced with a certain subtask which they are clueless about, they panic. And if you go into panic mode, it affects the quality of your answers in the remaining parts of the paper as well. So I do not want you to panic unnecessarily. If you cannot come up with an answer, close your eyes and breathe slowly for about 2 minutes, then refocus on the exam. And if you are feeling stressed, remind yourself that you had done your homework. Remind yourself that you had done 5 mock exams. You have developed 5 answer plans based on the suggested answers. You have gone through the answer plans again and again. And on top of that, you had referred to hordes of additional material. So you have attempted 5 mock exams. So remind yourself that you had done all your homework, and remind yourself that you need just 80 marks to pass. Okay, there's absolutely no point of worrying about a certain subtask which carries a weightage of, let's say, 30%. The mark allocation is going to be something like 9 marks. There's absolutely no point of worrying about 9 marks when you can lose you can end up losing marks. You just need 80 marks to pass the examination. And give your best shot and be open-minded during the exam. So this is what you need to do to develop as well as maintain your confidence on the day of the exam. Right. If you're attempting the exam at home, you are supposed to, go through this link. Now, because of the pandemic, COVID-19 pandemic, the CIMA has given you the opportunity to attempt your exams at home. So you have to, before, attempting the real paper, you have to refer to the CIMA exam information page, go to this link, right? Read the content thoroughly before the exam. Try out the CIMA exam platform by following guidelines mentioned, because you need to get accustomed to the exam platform. It's better to do this 2 or 3 days before the examination. So I'll be sharing the slide deck via email with you. So you can go to this link and get accustomed to the exam platform only if you are attempting the exam at home. Right. So let me talk about what we offer. We offer 2 packages, the essential pack and the value pack. As part of the essential pack, you gain access to full pre-scene analysis videos. I was highlighting about 4 videos. That's what you get access to. You will have access to the annotated pre-scene, industry analysis slides, financial analysis slides, and top 10 issue slides, as well as the MCS familiarization kit. Okay. And you'll have access to 5 exam standard mock exams and suggested answers. As I highlighted earlier, these 5 mock exams cover all syllabus content which can be tested in your exam. And you would have access to a WhatsApp discussion forum as well. I hope you guys are part and parcel of this WhatsApp discussion forum. If not, I will be sending a link via email, so that you can join our WhatsApp discussion group. In this discussion forum, 3 tutors of TCS are actively involved in it. So we'll be moderating as well as answering any of your questions pertaining to the MCS examination. And this package comes with a pass guarantee. If by any chance you fail, after purchasing our products, if by any chance you end up failing the examination, which is going to be highly unlikely, still if you end up failing the examination, you will have access to the material in your subsequent sitting. Okay, so that's the pass guarantee which we provide, and the investment is going to be £99. And looking at the value pack, you would have access to everything which I highlighted under the essential pack. On top of that, you would have access to the online mock exam platform. So just like in the real exam, you can attempt all your 5 mocks via this online mock exam platform. So this is the best tool for you to get accustomed to real exam conditions. And we are also providing professional marking and feedback on 3 mocks. Okay, if you are if you feel that you need to improve, if you feel that you cannot handle self studies, then it's recommended that you go for the value pack, because we will be providing feedback for mocks 3, 4, and 5. And let me show you the type of feedback you'd receive. So as you can see, we have made comments onto your right. Okay, so for each and every area, an in-depth evaluation has been provided. Okay, you can see it throughout the paper, and at the very end we provide a mark breakdown so that you can better understand how much marks are allocated for each and every subtask, and based on that how much you have achieved. And at the very end we will be providing general comments about your answers as well. Then if you purchase the value pack, you would have access to theory recaps pertaining to E2, F2, and P2 related areas. If you think you need to brush up on your theoretical knowledge, these theory recaps are the best tool, because these are concise, these are downloadable, easily understandable, so you can go through theoretical content instantaneously without having the hassle to go through your previous notes and whatnot. And the investment is going to be £199. All right. So it brings us to the third part of today's session, which is the Q&A session. If you have any questions, you can raise them now. I'm going to pause the recording. All right. If you still have questions, you can raise them or, mention it in the chat section. Before we finish, let me take you through the website. So you can log into our website and go to the MCS page. Via this page, you can gain access to all free content. The free content includes the recorded versions of the 4 webinars and one of the 4 videos pertaining to the pre-scene analysis, and you would get access to mini mock and a suggested answer. Okay, and all our pass rate is 81% as per the previous session, and all information pertaining to the essential pack can be found under the FAQ section, and all information pertaining to the value pack can be found here as well. And we had provided samples of all material which we provide so that you can go through them before you purchase it. And I want you guys to go through our blog posts as well, because in the blog posts we have highlighted all the technical nitty-gritties which you need to know. The examiner's comments, what you need to do after the pre-scene is out, how to build a winning attitude, the type of issues faced by students sitting for CIMA case study examinations, and for each issue I've provided solutions. I've mentioned about answer planning technique. If you failed your previous case study, you have to definitely read this blog post. And there are myths pertaining to, or misconceptions pertaining to the case study examinations. So I've highlighted these myths and provided solutions to overcome each of these myths, and the information pertaining to exam dates and exam fees are provided within our blog. Somebody raised, he saw her hand. I think somebody raised the hand. Any questions, guys? Any queries? Okay, seems like there aren't any. All right, so you can contact us via our website. You can send us an email or simply WhatsApp us. And you can follow us on our social media handles, especially the YouTube channel should be checked out. Yes, definitely you can. I've mentioned the WhatsApp number here, so I'll type it on the chat section so that you can get in touch with me later. All right. Okay, I'll jot down your phone number as well. Give me a second, please. Four 836 676. Okay, super. I'll drop you a message via WhatsApp. Okay, so that's that. All our recorded webinars are uploaded onto YouTube, so you can check out our YouTube channel as well. So thank you very much, guys, for joining in. I wish you all the very best in the with regards to the upcoming examination. Stick to our study plan. If you had already started your work, then that's great. Just go through the study plan and figure out what type of activities you need to complete before the examination. As I highlighted earlier, it's of utmost importance that you be confident in the coming 2 weeks. Stick to the plan, and if you stick to the plan, you can be confident, and this the same level of confidence needs to be taken forward or maintained when you are attempting the real exam. So having said that, thank you very much for joining in. All the very best. See you. Good night.